Let me hold you tight, if only for one night.
The biggest and strongest hurricane ever to hit Jamaica. Category 5 winds topping 190 miles an hour. Hundreds of homes and entire communities vanished underwater. Footage captured in the eye of the storm from inside this plane showed just how powerful Melissa was.
As I pulled through the door, that's the time the house fell down.
I represent the constituency where it made landfall, and my accommodation was also right in the eye of the storm as well.
Through survivor testimonies and eyewitness accounts from those who lived through it,
I saw people in Petersfield High School who were being treated like dogs. They never had even tarpaulins.
This is the story of the critical hours and the painful months that followed after one of the Caribbean's most devastating storms.
A lot more lives were lost because of the government's negligence. And that is the most horrifying thing about this.
In terms of the government's efforts, I don't think it was well handled. There's still people living in the hurricane shelters from last October.
I don't have a home. I'm underneath a plastic.
Did chaos, confusion, and delay by the government make a national disaster even worse? Jamaica, one of the most famous islands in the Caribbean. A country of nearly 3 million people. But in just hours from now, a hurricane is about to rewrite its history forever.
Melissa, you see what you do with me? Look there. When you see what Melissa do with me? Tear me down. Look there, we have to stand up a whole long sink. Everything Melissa tear with Ocha.
Cartoon and her 2-year-old granddaughter are both trapped in their home, which is being battered by the storm's powerful winds. She captured this video of her entire experience.
Melissa, me don't like you. You're going to never take your money. When I was in the house shop with my granddaughter, when I see the rooftop comes off, and I hear that the zinc, they are bombing, licking, and I hear like the sky drop, because the only thing you could say, drop some type of sound that you hear. It was so heavy, so I keep watching my house top. Watch it up, I think. Okay. And it bit me there, and it baby, watch her. Oh, gone. Look what it's sitting there doing.
Just moments after Cartoon stopped filming, her home collapsed.
As I pulled through the door, that's the time the house fell down. When the house fell down, I said, oh my God, but I didn't feel anyway. I was just happy. Thank God nothing happened to me in there. But I think like 2 to 3 weeks after, since now, it really started to jerk me and start to affect me because I see death.
Oh, what's disaster?
Sometimes I just frighten and I just remember if the concrete, it fell down, it would fell because the room little, so it would fell crossway my back here and bump my head in the wall, which the baby maybe will drop out of my hand and drop underneath it.
We did say that the system is a Category 5 hurricane at this time. That means it will cause catastrophic damage, life-threatening damage.
In the aftermath of the storm, 45 people lost their lives and many neighborhoods were swallowed up by the floods caused by Melissa. Early estimates showed more than 150,000 homes were damaged or destroyed.
When you went into some of these communities, you literally could smell the human feces. You could smell dead bodies, both animal and humans. You had stagnant waters behind people's houses, and the water levels are rising. You had elders who were in classrooms that are messed up in feces and there's nobody there to clean them. You had people on roadways and sidewalks that are hungry and needed food. You had literally people on the roadways saying, help, help, we need food. They literally started to hold down the vehicles, trying to get food from them.
My son foot them broke. Me a asthma patient. My husband have high blood pressure. Everything gone through. We don't have no food, no water, no.
For survivors, the nightmare did not end when the storm passed.
That's why the tube, we have the tube in. You can't see it. Inside spot straight.
So where you want to go? What kind of help you need, Grandpa?
What kind of what?
What kind of help you need? What you want to do?
Me just want somewhere to go and get. Me have a place can put a building in.
Many are still struggling to rebuild their lives. Among them is 83-year-old Eric. He lost everything, and his health is now deteriorating.
People lost a lot. People lost their lives. A lot more lives were lost after the hurricane because of the government's negligence. A lot more lives were lost because of the government's negligence. And that is the most horrifying thing about this. The fact that we could have so much to do so much more and we did so little with it. And we're okay. Jamaica, one love. Come to Jamaica and feel all right. And we must smile and pose for pictures. I don't understand it.
The people were saying that they're not seeing the government doing what they need to do. Had it not been for organizations like myself and other charities and outreach out there, the artists that were on the ground to have impacted probably would have turned into a civil war in Jamaica already.
I'm asking all of my fans from your heart to give anything you can, no matter how small, it always will go towards helping people.
Oh, they can hear me? All right. Over here, I have members of my team who are going to be helping us to document this. Stuff that we need to know: name, age, gender, circumstance, if you have any illnesses, if you have any urgent, what you call the cuts and that kind of thing, if you need to get in contact with anybody.
It was horrifying to see Jamaica in this state, our island in that state. It was horrifying to see the people experiencing that kind of distress. As a young, passionate Jamaican who have so much to contribute, these are the moments that cause cognitive dissonance. You know? Disillusionment. That's why so many of us are leaving Jamaica brain drain. We can't take the heartache.
The government insisted throughout it was doing everything possible, mobilizing search and rescues and aid supplies as the scale of the disaster became clear. But in the parish of Westmoreland, the area hit hardest by Melissa, the horror of the storm wasn't only the destruction of homes, but the human loss.
I represent the constituency where it made landfall, and my accommodation was also right in the eye of the storm as well. So there was significant damage to my personal dwelling. The damage to the constituency though was more devastating because quite a lot of the residents did not have stable accommodations. They had board houses and those did not stand up well. But probably the most chilling thing was when I saw mothers with young children outside. That probably was what had the most impact on me. There were a few bodies that were there for a prolonged period of time, and some members in at least 2 of the communities had to bury them. They've been subsequently exhumed.
The situation was very apocalyptic. When you travel from I would say mid St. Elizabeth heading west, it was just a wasteland. You know, every light post virtually was down, wires were everywhere, people were just walking around in shock. house after house destroyed. So there was a sense of doom, you know, that people had to reconcile themselves to their lives being absolutely turned upside down.
As the floodwaters began to recede, another storm was gathering force, not in the skies, but inside Jamaica's political establishment.
We didn't get no vote at Westmoreland. We drive past over with my helicopter and man to go up here. Bad mind Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Questions over Prime Minister Andrew Holness's response quickly became a national conversation. Opposition MPs claimed their communities were deliberately abandoned in the response.
If I said I was surprised, I would be lying. I wasn't surprised at all, because that is the nature of the individuals who are in government currently. That's how they operate. And I thought it would have been a defining moment to say to these persons that this is now beyond the realm of politics and we need to come together for this response. And when you look at the electoral map of the country, Westmoreland and Hanover are all the constituencies in those two parishes are represented by the People's National Party. And when the Prime Minister went out in an helicopter, he went to St. Elizabeth and then he flew across to St. James.
Both of which are represented by his party.
Totally ignoring Westmoreland, which is where landfall was made. And he went on to say that Black River is ground zero. And so I think the neglect of the people of Westmoreland and Hanover started from then, because the mobilization of resources went based on what the Prime Minister was saying.
Bob Marley said rain no fall upon one man house top. You know, everybody was affected. PNP, JLP, no P.
Jamaica has gone through what I can call one of its worst period. Our infrastructure has been severely compromised. St. Elizabeth is the breadbasket of the country, and that has taken a beating. The entire Jamaica has felt the brunt of Melissa.
The evidence of that couldn't be more clear in the small town of Petersfield.
Maros is marooned.
For days, residents were cut off from the outside world. Denisha formed a team of volunteers who became first responders on motorbikes.
They don't care about poor people, they don't care about country people. But I don't think they realize that history will not forget. History will remember this time. History will remember. So it is politicized. And at the same time, in the same breath, I do have to say the PNP also have to stand to account to why it is that Westmoreland is so underdeveloped.
Pinnacle. That was a couple of years ago. That's almost 9 years ago.
The Prime Minister came and I explained to him that we were doing work on the ground, and he told me that he knew, he saw. I want to believe that he's human. I want to believe when he says that he feels what the people feel. But I can't trust him. I can't trust him because he has allowed the mismanagement of so much funds on his watch. During your tenancy as the Prime Minister, the leader of this nation, I had a lot of other hopes. You know, and I'm very, very disappointed. Very, 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 very disappointed. I will not use heartbroken because I've already figured that out. Because it's not your fault. You are also a slave to the system that raised you. So it's cool. I'm just disappointed because you can make better decisions. So, but I'm not disappointed enough to stop fighting though. Because we have to be held accountable. That's how we grow as a nation.
This school became a shelter and was meant to be a safe space. Instead, it became a place of desperation. Families slept crammed together with little sanitation. This grandmother who suffered a head injury after falling is finally receiving help.
I'm not cloud chasing and so, but it was people like me who went out there 3-4 times for the week to see. Even when I had my health that was crashing, I was still on the battlefield serving the people, because I saw people in Petersfield High School who were being treated like dogs. They never had even tarpaulins, never even had the basic things to survive. Children were there in cold. One time they thought it was a COVID outbreak. It wasn't a COVID outbreak. All of them had a cold and a flu, and nobody was there to treat them.
It's a demonstration of the layered response of the government.
In terms of the government's efforts, I don't think it was well handled. I think that the amount of funding that was provided has been inadequate, and I think that the way in which the programs have been executed have been disorganized. There's still people living in the hurricane shelters from last October, and the hurricane season is almost upon us. June 1, the new hurricane season begins.
In this disaster, many of the shelters that were prescribed as shelters were destroyed. And so some of the areas that you're seeing functioning as shelters were never prescribed as shelters. We just had to use them in the immediate passage of the hurricane. So
I had reached out to the Prime Minister from very early after this happened and said, establish a broad stakeholder committee which the two political parties would be on, to kind of give a governance oversight over how relief in particular was being distributed. That was never done, unfortunately. But I think that was a mistake, because it meant that there was a fair amount of distrust as to whether things were being handled equitably.
Just go over there for your food.
Politics certainly got in the way of saving lives. For instance, many people argue that because the Westmoreland is totally orange at this time, where the response in Westmoreland is not as good as the response in St. Elizabeth. But when you think about it, all of the response across Western Jamaica is chaka chaka and baga baga. Nobody is getting any help. However, those who are, the things are being speed up for, people are saying, yes, them are labor right. My problem with Jamaica right now, it should be apolitical at this moment to fixing the people's lives in Western Jamaica.
This is what remains of Cartoon's home. Melissa did not just show the brutal force of Mother Nature. It exposed the fragility of the systems meant to protect people when everything falls apart.
I saved 2 mattresses and my 2 bed base. I lose everything else. I lose like dresser, whatnot, chest of drawer, I lose all of those. Refrigerator, I lose all of those. My machine, I lose all of those. The government take up the whole of Jamaica and let down the whole world. It's out. It's done. It's done.
Nearly 7 months later, she is still homeless.
This is my tent, my little place that I fix it. I take my hand and make this here from scratch to start. So I put my little stove in there, it's like a table there, a bed foot there.
Inside this makeshift tent is where she sleeps, with her belongings scattered around.
Sometimes I make a mockery of it when I said I'm going home. I said I'm going by my tarpaulin. I'm going underneath my plastic.
One tent put most of the clothes in and stuff like that.
That couldn't be a home. You couldn't get electricity and plastic. You wouldn't get a bill, a light bill and a water rate for plastic. So I don't have a home. I'm underneath a plastic. I don't have a home.
When the rain fall, I have to went over to the church to get shelter. That doesn't mean I'm wetting. I'm not wetting. But the reason why I have to go, the generator is right there at the door.
A lot of time I'm hungry. A lot of time I short of food. I have no bathroom. I have no toilet. no bathing here. I have to bathe. I have to poo same place sometime in the Chapolin where I live. I have to shower on the outside, right beside the Chapolin where I live. I have to cook same place inside.
The government claims that recovery efforts are now accelerating to help those like Khartoum. But questions remain about where millions of dollars donated has gone and why it is taking so long to reach survivors sleeping in shelters, under tents, or inside damaged homes.
The cash money donated from fundraising drives by the government. There was a telethon that I was asked to participate in to encourage people to give money, which I did because it was a national effort. And over 1.4 billion Jamaican dollars worth of, in various currencies, was received in cash. And that's at the end of February, 4 months after the hurricane hit. Only 20-odd million of it had been spent. Less than 2% of it had been spent to help people.
Let me give you an example of a representative in a constituency that was severely affected. There's been no allocation to address any of the damage to the roadways. Zero. Significant numbers of persons within the communities are still without water. We still have persons without electricity. Approximately just over 1,000 of them in eastern Westmoreland without electricity, and this is almost 7 months later. If you look at the roofs program again, which is the major program for the government, the point was made that if you had minor damage, you'd benefit from $75,000. It's about $500 US, just under. And if you had major damage, you'd get 200,000 Jamaican again, it's about $1,200 US. And if you had severe damage, then you would get 500,000, which is about 3,200 US. Now, we had 156,000 dwellings, houses that were affected. 40 plus thousand falls into major, and into severe, you have close to 20,000. If you multiply 20,000 by the 500,000, you're at the 10 billion. So by their numbers, it tells you that there is no way they would have assisted the majority of the persons. And that is why, if you were to go out now into the community, you would still see about 50% of the houses still have tarpaulins on them.
Did my meetings with the government help in my coordination to help people? It was a waste of my time. To be very, very, very honest with you, at the end of the day, I could have spent that time and redirected it to actually fund functioning to do more work. Instead, I wasted time sending proposals and having meetings and sending reports and assessments to the government and waiting on them to respond to finally support what we were doing. And 7 months later, no. So I found that there was a lot of gender-based decision-making that happened and continues to happen. Yeah, the government also doesn't have as innovative ideas as people on the grassroots and the periphery, the creatives have. So it really was a waste of my time, respectfully.
Everywhere. It is the worst response we have ever seen in a crisis in the land. We're literally a month away from the next hurricane season, and at least 200,000 families are still in the dilapidated state at what is happening in my country. Egos and political interferences of men who should put away their selfish egos in the interest of the people. That is why we never got where we needed to have been.
It looks and sounds ephemeral, meaning, like it's inanimate and it's abstract, this business of the economy. But if you have a good economy, people will be able to help themselves. A good economy helps everyone.
I think he's failing the people of Western Jamaica. And I think that it's partly maybe as a result of the fact that he didn't get a lot of support electorally in the elections last September from that part of Jamaica, but that shouldn't be a factor. You know, that really isn't relevant. You know, as they say, Bob Marley say, rain or fall upon one man, house top. You know, everybody was affected. PNP, JLP, no P. So at a time like this, you can't bring politics into it. And of course, he would deny that he does, but the facts speak for themselves. The scanty efforts made, the slow pace with which things are being addressed indicate that there is, I would say, inadequate attention. And I think he has let down the people of Western Jamaica.
Melissa may have broken parts of Jamaica, but it never broke the spirit of its people, because in the middle of the destruction, when help was delayed and hope was running thin, ordinary people carried each other.
Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with your mighty hand. Keep us free from not just evil powers, but keep us free from environmental crisis. Because if we were to have that in this season, oh my Lord, my Father from up above would have to come down in tenderly love and divinely intervene. We can't manage anymore. Earth are run red. Jamaica are run dry. We are in a hopeless, destitute state right now. I'm asking for the Father from up above to give our vision, give our leaders vision, else we'll surely perish. Give us vision.
So this one is dedicated to the people living under tarpaulin or tarpaulin since Hurricane Melissa. People bawling under tarpaulin. And rain soon start falling. Because next month of June, so hurricane season will come again soon. And you don't know that a few months soon. But when some people lay down and look up at night, when the mosquito them a bite and them in a darkness because them not have no light, them not see no roof or ceiling over their head. All them see is tarpaulin instead. People bawling under tarpaulin. And when they wake up tomorrow morning, them still homeless, feeling hopeless, distressed, wondering how the hell them end up in this mess. Uncomfortable, miserable, vulnerable, exposed to the elements from all directions, dreams blown away with them earthly possessions, dejected, feeling rejected, never expected to be neglected by the elected, still waiting for dwellings to be erected. It's not pretty. It's not cute. Big, smuddy, unliquor youth, destitute, just a catch-like tree without root and facing the truth that they have been abandoned. People bawling under tarpaulin, but the authorities them stalling. Whole heap of money sent, but only a little toops of it spent, less than 2%. And the powers that be take you and me for idiot, for fool. Take the whole away for buffoon, like we a big head bud we born behind cow. And I tell we say them are gonna fix things soon, when things could have well are fixed by now. Them comfortable enough for them resident, with them ceiling floor and concrete wall. Me have to wonder if them I think about the people living under tarpaulin at all. And them not care what we say. Them I do things them own way. Oversight to get a fight and take flight, accountability to get parked, transparency gone for a walk. And if you open your mouth and talk, the tribalists and the troll, where they pan them payroll, come out with guns blazing to the comments sections, racing, raging, tracing, and I say, you're on the other side. But the whole of them for move them head side, because dollars are flow and money are run, but the people living under tarpaulin cynical are none. But how come? Because are we? That's reality. That's fact. And we sit down and all of that. Some of it partisan and make excuse. Some fit oppose but not have no use. Some sit on fence. Some hide behind wall and not say nothing at all because they don't have no. Hey, too many are we in the east and the middle. While Roma burn, I play for the fiddle. We feel that's where we complacency. Next time it could be you and me. So nobody want to thank you and weak out and keep by your mouth. The whole of it to turn up strong and speak out. Make up noise, protest. Keep talking and don't rest. Demonstrate, agitate and advocate for the people bawling under tarpaulin.